Hey everybody, this is Justin with zZounds, and today we are going to be looking at a slick new Yamaha product. So, Blake, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. Well, here it is. This is a MODX M. And the one I have in front of me here is the MODX M8. So this is the 88-note graded hammer action version of it, 31 pounds, super light. But we also have a 6 and a 7 that have 61 and 76 key. That has actually an action that we have redesigned from the previous model that make it a lot nicer to play, in my opinion. It feels a lot nicer. It's called FSB, this action that we've had.
Okay. It does feel really nice, by the way.
It really does.
A little bit of weight,
and they also kind of, the design of it, they've kind of streamlined it quite a bit. It's thinner on the 6 and the 7, so it's a little bit, more compact, but still
to move it around.
Substantial, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what is the MODX M series? Like as a, kind of like for anybody out there who might not know what it is.
Sure, yeah, so MODX, and we had MODX and MODX Plus before. So MODX Plus was sort of the second gen of the MODX, but that was based on the original Montage music synthesizer, which was our flagship synthesizer. We released about 2016, I think, is when we did that.
I feel like everybody's seen one of those at some point.
They've been out for a while.
They're out there.
And as Yamaha has been known to do, we make a midline product after the flagship's been out for a while. So, and that's like for the past 5, I think, midline flagship. This is our new midline version of the Montage M. So Montage M is our current flagship model that added a whole lot of different things to the original Montage, like a new ANX synth engine, larger waveform, larger number of waveforms available, like twice that of the Montage M, FMX, and so on. So this takes the DNA from that flagship and gives it to you in a lower cost, lighter weight thing. And most of the things that are super important, like the ANX engine, the controls, we have display knobs now, we have 8 faders in here, we have some cool performance controls we've added in here too, we have a cool navigation button that I can show later on, just things that are really interesting, cool usability things that we upgraded with Montage M. We brought those really cool features to this product as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. It looks like there's a lot going on here. So as somebody who's now just kind of seeing this for the first time, like what do you think is the biggest addition that you've done to the kind of Montage series? I know, tough question, right?
There's a lot, one of the things that I loved about the Montage M, and I'll just start with I'll start with the AWM 2 engine, the sample-based engine. The new waveforms that we brought in are so cool. We added, we kept all of the waveforms from the previous model because you can load all your Montage voices, original Montage and MODX voices into this, no problem. So if you have that product and you want to upgrade, you're fine. All your libraries can come in here as well.
Oh, easy, yeah.
I think the waveforms that we've added to this are truly impressive. So we have this is the CFX concert ground that was in the Montage. It's in Montage M as well. It shows up as a single part. On the original Montage, that was 4 parts. But because now with AWM2 moving from 8 elements for a single part up to 128 elements, there's just so much more detail in the sound now, and it's all on a single part. Whereas before, like I said, you had to break that up into 4 parts to get all of the soft sounds, the medium sounds, and the hard strike, and all the nuance. You can now do that in a single part. So that's a cool thing.
So it frees you up to do way more sound design with it. Okay,
exactly.
Yeah, cool.
But then we also have the new CFX2 in here too, which we didn't have in the previous Montage. So we had the CFX, which was a concert grand release about 25 years ago or so, and then we released the new version of that concert grand in 2022, I think, and now we have the waveform for that new one. So this is just a different sounding piano altogether. It's a darker piano. It still has that really great presence, but again, this is something that's different, that's brought in from the Montage M.
Cool.
But other things in here are things like these huge orchestral sounds. This is a big one that I played on lots of things for, videos and stuff, called this SFZ Tremolo BPM Sync. That's the name of this. It's an orchestral sound. The reason why is because sforzando, right? So it's very dynamic, and it has those cool little arpeggio things and motion sequence things that have articulations. But as you move through this, you have different. So there's.
And the brass in there.
Yeah, that's a cool. So that's straight up Montage M. all of that is new waveforms.
Cool.
And
Okay.
that's something that was in that. So that's what really excited me, is having all of this great sound. And then you go over to these things like trailer toys. This is an interesting one because some of these sounds in here have huge amounts of waveforms, and there's an ANX part in here, so that's another addition from the MONTAGE M, is the analog modeling engine, ANX. It's 12 voice polyphony in this, 16 in the MONTAGE M, but having that analog feel is added to this as well. But this one right here, in fact, I'll just play, I have a sequence in here that I usually just play with this because it's just so cool.
Let's hear it.
Let's see. So what these are, trailer toys, so like movie trailers, there's all sorts of new sound effect kind of things that I've never really heard in very many keyboards out there. The only thing I really hear these in are like software.
Yeah, same.
But you have these great, let me go back here to the main page here.
Okay.
There's this one here, and then there's another one. I'm moving through. You notice like performance, live set, category, audition. Those are kind of the 4 buttons that I show people to get around on. So you have live set is a collection of what are called performances. There's only one mode in this for all the sounds, and it's called performance. So when I go here to live set, I can switch to a different performance. This is one called more trailer toys.
Is it like little snapshots there you could just cycle through really quickly?
Yeah, these are like collections of the main area where the sound is produced. So it's just a quick way for me to organize them how I want to. These are my user live sets. There's also, if I go here to preset live sets, there's ones that we've chosen for people to check out, sort of an overview of what's in the instrument.
Okay.
And then for my video shoot today, I made my own user one in here. And so that's what these are. These are my own kind of choices on the things that I really like.
And is it, I assume it's for like playing live where you need to switch patches quickly? Okay,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's exactly that. So you can just hit, like if I'm in here and I say, here's a piano sound. And anything that has, I think, up to 6 parts. So a single part, I have seamless sound switching between the two.
So you can just sustain that one out.
Yeah. And on the MODX and MODX Plus, it was 4 parts. Anything beyond that wouldn't do seamless. Now it's 6 parts, so we've made it a little bit bigger there. On a MONTAGE and MONTAGE M, it's 8-part seamless sound switching.
Okay, so you mean only those 4 parts would sustain through, but it would drop out the other ones?
Exactly.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
But with this one, it's a lot quick. You know, when I move to here, you can hear the seamless sound switching, which is cool. Getting back to these trailer toys, by the way, there's this other one here. And with stereo and a subwoofer, these are something else.
I'll get kicked out of my apartment if I play this one.
Yeah, it's interesting. On a gig I was on, I brought my laptop that has ESP, and we can talk about that in a second too, because there's ESP for this as well. It's the virtual MONTAGE M. I was bringing these sounds out, and everybody looks at you. It's a kind of cool thing to have on a gig where it's like, how are you making those sounds? Anyway.
It is pretty rich though, but
yeah.
So tell me about the layout over here. I know before we started this, you had mentioned the kind of new functionality of the sliders and how that they kind of take on different functions based on what settings you're at.
So, in fact, a good one to show us is just straight up with an organ sound. Something that's also nice about this product is that we have these virtual drawbars in here, which we added to the MONTAGE M as well. But you can see kind of a drawbar kind of a situation here when I pull things down. So having that for organ sounds is nice to have. But you can also have the level, if you have multiple parts in here, like in this one that has 8 parts, I can control the volumes of each of the parts if I want to. You can see the faders moving there. So I can mix this way. If I go to DAW remote, which this is also, these can be volume and pans up here. You can assign these to control things like Cubase, Logic, Live, that kind of stuff.
Plug-in control.
Yeah, and having the ability to have 8 faders in here when you're mixing in an environment is a nice thing to have. So that's one thing that's really nice about having that functionality built in. Again, this is kind of coming over from MONTAGE M, which also has 8 faders. So we added those extra faders, which I'm really happy. It makes usability a lot better. And there's multiple things you can do, mixing individual elements, parts, and so on. So
yeah, I love that. And
that's a cool thing.
I like that you mentioned that it'll show you what parameters it'll be controlling with the encoders.
Yeah, like if I grab something like this. So this is an ANX sound in here.
The analog
one of the
ones?
analog, yeah. And if I want to adjust the filter, as soon as I touch the cutoff frequency, a little pop-up screen comes up here, and I can see exactly what's happening as far as cutoff frequency and resonance here. One of the things that's cool about a MONTAGE M is that there's a full LED display right here that, rather than have that, in order to save some money, they put these control knobs here, but they gave you more things to choose from over the previous model, and then you have this cool pop-up. So there's a nice graphic that comes up when you move stuff. So if I go to, reverb send or whatever, you can see that right there. If I go down here to filter envelope generator depth, I have the depth of that control right here, and you see things like plus 9600. It's like 90. What, not
out of
127? Well, this is something else that I'd like to show about this. This is MIDI 2.0 compatible, so it supports high resolution controllers. So you have that kind of thing that we brought over from MONTAGE M, which is also MIDI 2.0. Well, MODX will be MIDI 2.0, is MIDI 2.0 as well, which is very cool. Anyway, so you have, you have this nice graphic thing, so that's something that's definitely changed. And since we're looking at this display mode, as I change the display mode, I can see different things on what is showing up in this part here. So in this one, it shows key ranges and velocity. As I move through, here's variation, reverb, send. You have ARP on, whether or not the part's on, or rather portamento is here, and then portamento time, which you also have a physical control, which was added as well. We didn't have that before.
I like that, yeah.
So the display mode just gives you a different way to look at stuff. View mode changes the entire view of another way to look at things like velocity, like you see here. You see where I'm hitting in the velocity. It's like a little velocity meter.
Okay, yeah, that's fun. It is helpful too, yeah.
Yeah, and then something else about this guy is this navigation button. We added this in MONTAGE M. With MODX Plus, when I touch navigation, it gives you an overview of everything that's happening in this sound. So I can look at the fact that you see immediately there's 3 oscillators here. There's the filter modifier. If I want to jump to anything, as soon as I touch that, it jumps me right to the screen here.
Cool, okay. Then you can adjust it from there?
Yeah, so it's just a nice overview of the entire sound right here. If I want to adjust, well, what's in the insert effect? It takes me right to one of the 2 insertion effects you have per part.
Cool. This is a tweaker's paradise here.
Absolutely. Well, but the thing that I love about it is that it widens the OS as opposed to deepens it. Okay. And what I mean by that is when you have a deep OS, that means you're going into a lot of menu diving, you're getting into things, and it becomes a little cumbersome and confusing. Whereas what navigation does is it gives you a quick overview, and you can see everything in front of you, so it widens it out. It's easier to edit things. So if I know I want to get to the LFO. Before, if I didn't have this, I'd have to go edit, part, where's the LFO? Well, now if I hit navigation, I look at this and, oh, there's part LFO right here. Boom, there it is.
Oh, I love that, because I feel like we're coming full circle with that, because we did get pretty deep with a lot of products.
Oh,
and it just makes me kind of uninspired if I have to sit there just menu diving, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. So it keeps you in the music.
Yeah.
And which I love in here. Something else, since I have this analog ANX sound here. This was something that they added to MONTAGE M, which I love. All that keyboard hold does is it just, and then when I go to the next chord, it grabs the next one.
All right.
So if you're in a band, you're playing pad parts. I don't have to sit here and find my sustain pedal. It holds it through. And then if I wanted to edit things while that's playing still, this is one of the coolest. I use it all the time for all sorts of stuff. Like if I go over here to a piano part, same thing here. If you have this.
Sounds good on the piano.
But I love how it cancels the previous chord out.
Yeah.
So you're always hitting these.
Those well-articulated chords there.
Yeah, it sounds like you're just nailing it every time. Perfect sustain. I love that. And again, when I saw the prototypes of this, good, they kept the keyboard hold. Yes, this is cool. So I was super happy about so much of this product. There's just so much about it that, that's just the new stuff as far as, usability. There's lots of things like that.
Yeah. So, like, who exactly do you think would really get the most use out of this new one? Do you think?
I think anybody that wants to have a diverse sound set in front of them all the time. It's great to have lots of different, like fully analog gear is great. I love, up until I have to play a piano, and then I have to have something else, right?
Yeah.
But I still need some analog sounds. So I have an analog engine in here. It's a modeled engine, but it's a great sounding modeled engine. Lots of cool stuff, lots of diversity to that. So I think that's a cool thing. I think anybody that is playing a gig, especially an 88-note weighted piano action. I just was talking to a customer the other day that called me that has an old S90 ES, which is one of our synths. And this guy's a little older now, and he's like, it weighs a little bit too much. And that weighed probably 45 pounds or so. But he's looking for something lighter.
Yeah.
What do you have that's lighter? So we talked about some other things. Obviously, we didn't talk about this at that moment. But this is 31 pounds, and it's 88-note weighted. You can pick it up easily with one hand, and I'm not exactly young. So, I can do this, 31 pounds, so I can hold 31 pounds with my right hand. Anyway, and then when you get to the 61-note version, that's 15 pounds.
Oh, it's way different, yeah.
Having something for a gig, right there. Speaking of gigs, we have killer gig bags for this. Definitely an upgrade from the previous ones that are nice plush inside. They have a little bit more padding to them. I would have brought it, but I couldn't fit it in the flight case for this. But you can see all that stuff on your site.
Cool.
You'll have those as well. But so the gig bag in here, it's a wheeled case for this, backpack cases for the 61 and the 76.
All right.
But having the power of a MONTAGE M in a lightweight, mobile kind of instrument is great. Anybody that's bought a MONTAGE M, also, they can keep their MONTAGE M8X with the polyphonic aftertouch and always sitting in their studio. That's where mine sits. And then when I want to go on a gig, I can just load the sounds directly in because they're all file compatible, and this goes to the gig with all my sounds for my flagship product.
Yeah, huge.
And then again, if somebody has a MODX currently and they want to upgrade, all your sounds will load right in. And there's more library locations in this. There's, I think, 24 library locations in the 16 or 24. I'll look at it in a second. But we have more area to store stuff. There's already 3,300 sounds on board when you buy it, so you have that.
Oh, really? There's that many?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then finally, the last thing, we like to talk about sound, control, and workflow. So sound, we have great sounds, lots of new sounds in here. Control is all the cool things with the super knob, macro control and stuff. Workflow, big addition to workflow is ESP, the expanded soft synth plugin. Anybody that buys a MODX M, there's a code that will come in the box with it that you can go and download a virtual version of this instrument for your favorite DAW. It's VST3 or audio units. So, and you can store sounds, you can share sounds back and forth, but the coolest thing is that when you go away from your physical control, your MODX hardware instrument, and you go traveling, you can open up your DAW, plug in a controller, and have access to all of your MODX sounds. You can edit in there, you can listen to stuff, you get it how you want, come home, transfer it over to your hardware. Also, if you're doing some complicated arrangements and stuff, and you want to have like more polyphony, more control, we'll just open up an instance of the plugin, and you can still control everything with this. The DAW remote has, the plug-in control right here and stuff. You can control transport for running sounds and stuff, but you can move the super knob, it'll move the super knob there and stuff.
Easy, that's so easy.
But it's really cool to have the actual instrument, not just an editor, but an actual VS2 plugin of this for free when you get it, and you can install it up to 3 computers in your system. But that right there, that's so much that you get with this product at a affordable price. It's great.
Yeah, I really appreciate hearing it has like a a plug-in version.
It's kind of unprecedented. There's really nothing out there. There's been some products that have done it, but generally they're not as deep and stuff like, you have like all the waveforms. So I have that piano that I had, the CFX Concert or the CS, my version of this. So I can play this on the computer, and the MIDI 2.0 compatibility is very cool as well. And the way this connects, this is class compliant on a Macintosh. So when I plug it in, it knows it's a MONTAGE M or a MODX M, and it shows up as a 4-port interface. So you have port 1 to MIDI for just the internal sounds. Port 2 is for DAW. Port 3 is an interesting one because you can take an older tone generator you might have and plug the 5-pin DIN MIDI to that, and then call up port 3 in your DAW, and it's sending it out to your old. Okay. So it's like a MIDI interface for your old gear too. That's what port 3 is for. That's pretty cool.
That's fun.
Useful.
Yeah.
And then port 4 negotiates the connection between ESP, so we're streamlined and seamless with the connection between the hardware and the software of the VST, as well.
Okay. Yeah.
And it runs it's very low latency the way it plays. I have a Mac that I'm running on. It'll also run on Windows systems as well. But the latency is totally usable. I could play it on a gig. I have played it on a gig before,
nice,
just to see if I could play it. And it's like, oh, this is great, just with a single cable. So all those things. The fact that this is it's a stereo 2 out and 10 in. So you can take a single, like a multi-part performance like this, and I can send these out individual stereo channels if I want, up to 4 individual stereo channels, so 8.
Okay,
and then you have the return back is a stereo return, and that shows up here. So when I bring this up, that's controlling the DAW back.
Oh yeah, nice. I see that those are lighting up too. Okay, yeah.
So it has this, again, the interface has really been well redesigned for real world situations, for connecting to a computer, but also for live gigs and stuff.
Yeah.
An A to D input right there with a button and a gain, so you can plug a microphone or a guitar through it. This has killer effects, so you can run, and you can use this as an interface to a computer as well. A multi-channel interface, no less. So
fun. I really do. I will say one of the first things as you're explaining it is it's really immediate. Like there's always an LED display that's lighting up to show you which parameters you're adjusting, and even if somebody hasn't used it, I'm clearly seeing what you're adjusting as you're doing it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it borrows a lot of the really cool things from the MONTAGE M. It brings that into this, lighter weight, lower price point. It's just. It's really one of the cooler products that I always say it on all these videos, like, this is the coolest product we've ever, because it seems like when we release a new product, I always am so like just blown away by it. But for all the things that you get with it, it's just like, this one's truly, one of my new favorite product that we've released. Just all the stuff that's in it, it's great.
It is pretty next level. And like you're saying before, it really does just feel good. So it's got a little heavier action and everything. It's not so like keyboard action feeling.
No, not at all. And it's more pronounced actually on the smaller one.
Oh, really?
Because they made it smaller. They made it thinner. So the whole vibe of it is just, but the new action coupled with the thinner, it feels just more substantial into your hands too. So people that have the 61 and 76 note versions of the MODX will really appreciate the thinner and the different. I like the action better on this one. I mean, I'll say that straight up. It's a more responsive.
You heard it here first.
So,
what else would you like to cover on this? I know there's just so much we can discuss, but actually, how about this? How about you just play us some of the sounds?
That's probably the best thing we can do. So, like, things that I love about our instruments, especially with the AWM2, I'll start there first, is just the expressiveness. I like these. And then the assignable buttons over here will usually do something like.
Oh, cool.
Harmonics.
Okay.
So having now, not to say that I'm trying to take a guitar player's job, but keyboard players really I really like playing guitar stuff. For one thing, it forces me to think differently. Here's the little music stuff here. So I'm not playing chords like this. Because a guitar player doesn't really play these super tight chords, but when you open them up, well, I can play that same figure. So it opens up how I play if I start thinking more like a guitar player. It changes my piano playing.
Yeah, come to the dark side, man. Come over to the guitar world, man.
And it's really nice to have something that in the super knob changes things like it can change pickup.
I was just about to ask what that knob is, because it's just been swirling this whole time.
So what the super knob is It controls these assignable knobs when you go to assign. So there's 8 different assignable knobs, and each one of those you can think of as a mini super knob.
All right.
So what happens with the super knob? A very basic thing is if, let's say you have a sound that you want to do 2 things at the same time. One of them you want to turn up the reverb, and the other one is that you want to bring the filter down, but you want to do that simultaneously. How do you do that? It's really hard to kind of do that with a single control. What the super knob allows you to do is something like that. When I turn it, even though I'm going up, it could be also bringing something down.
So it's just increasing the direction that you're...
But if I drill down to this a little bit, and you take a look at what you have in front of you and the control, you have all these different ways that that super knob can move. So right now it's just a standard curve type that's a bipolar. So it's something for a center, like pan is bipolar.
Okay, yeah,
left and right.
Okay.
As opposed to just incremental, so that would be the other one, unipolar. So this gets a little deep, but if I go over here to something like sequence, see now you can see what that curve is going to do now. In fact, I'll adjust the amplitude a little bit here. So I'll bring this up so you can see. And then there's other little things. And notice that these display knobs I've updated. I used this to do ratio, but I could have just grabbed this display knob. That's another usability change that happened with MONTAGE M, is having these knobs. They change depending on what mode you're in. So what this allows you to do is, this one right here is using EQ gain for that. And as I turn the super knob, that's what it's assigned to, is this. That's controlling that assignable.
Gotcha, okay.
It's a macro controller. That's the best way.
All right.
And I can go way deeper, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
That's what's cool. That's what the super knob does. And you can do tons of things. You can control effects with it. You can control parameters, synth parameters, all sorts of things with the super knob. And now that I change it, I probably have a very strange... but you get the idea.
Yeah, definitely.
But being able to play this guitar sound, especially if I'm writing a song, I want to hear what it sounds like in guitar. Another one that I love in here, this is from the Montage world, is this. So this is an 8-part performance that as I hit each one of these, it changes. This one will just gain. But as you get into some of these, each one of those sounds has a different amp model, because there's tons of amp models in here.
Oh, that's fun.
If you don't, Yamaha makes guitar amps. We make the THR series.
No, you guys make everything. Let's be real, you make everything.
So that technology comes over into this product. So guitar sounds, there's stuff like that. I love this.
Making me sweat over here, man.
There's lots of different.
Ooh, okay.
So this is an electric piano called K75 RD amp. So with this one, this just adjusts the amp gain.
Well, hey, all those Rhodes players were plugging into guitar amps anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. So check this out. So with this sound in here, let me turn this down a bit. I love this. So this uses, sorry, I'm gonna get my part in here. Hard to hear it, but it's just noise. It's key noise, key off noise.
You can
I
blend
can
that in.
Yeah, I can blend in as much as I want. So my first scene here, what a scene is, it stores offsets of sounds, and this one, like right here, that's burning. Like if it, so I want more of the drive. This one brings it down a little bit, but I adjusted the amount of noise in here, of key noise, so you can have the little.
Yeah, that's huge though, to make it sound realistic. It's so huge. In the world. Yeah.
And you play to it, you feel like, oh, this is killer. So that's another thing I love about the stuff that's in here. They added a whole bunch of new electric piano sounds, like K75 is one of them, and then Blake is my version of it. So I edited it and made it my own. And then, I also have, like, with this one, I think I have... So this is a sequence I put together, and it's just a little G thing, But just to prove, hey, it's got a pattern sequencer in here. Guitars and stuff, and I put those over on those extra tracks. Again, a performance is up to 16 parts. So parts 9, 10, 11, 12 are drums, bass synth, little chunky guitars.
Yeah.
And then as you move through here, you'll hear it's coming up here in a second. It's in the brass ensemble.
Yeah, okay.
So remember, I can select these sounds and sequence them in.
Adjust them from there. Oh, that's fun.
But then when I go back to my performance, the one I'm really playing is parts 1 through 4. That's what I'm doing.
The road sound. Okay.
So anyway, so those type of sounds in here. I want to grab some. I think this guy lives in Chicago. The sound designer that did this, I think, is from your town here. There's a great drum kits in here, and I'm just using the Audition here. And what an Audition does is, if I'm not a super strong player, I don't really know how to do all, I can listen to what it's going to sound like by hitting this. It plays a sequence. So as I have this in here, I can listen to, this is a cool one too. The thing I love about this is, there's these weird pitch sounds, but they're not really, so when I play this back, and then
your drums
like
down
this
there.
sound here, dry. That one's got a lot of reverb on it though. So you can have individual adjustments of send to each of the sounds. So but that's a great drum kit that we added to it. There's stuff in here like the spiralizer effect. So what this is, spiralizer, we introduced this I think in the original montage. It does what's called the shepherd tone.
What's that?
Shepherd tone?
No, I'm not. Yeah.
You should Google shepherd tone, because there's all sorts of. What a shepherd tone is it's a sound that feels like it's going up in pitch, but it actually is not going up in pitch. It's the illusion that the sound is continuing going up in pitch or going down in pitch, depending on how you do it. Okay. And this one's going down, but tell me when it's going to stop. It feels like it's continually going down, because as it goes up or down, the fundamental will fade out, and then a harmonic will come in at the top.
Just keep going.
And it keeps going.
Okay.
And it's like an audio illusion. And
great band name.
Shepherd's Tones. Audio illusion is
that's a good band name, really.
But
that's cool.
This is an effect that our designers made that is a phaser flanger type of an effect that uses. So another thing that's just sort of unique, and I haven't really heard anything that makes that particular sound. This, again, I showed you all the cool trailer stuff. I love that stuff in here. And just, I'll find a couple more that I just really dig. I mean, like Gothic choir and brass. Who doesn't need a Gothic choir and brass? Timpani over here on the left, but each of the scenes will give a different. So just the horn section.
Yeah. Just the choir.
Just the choir. And then, because it has all these effects and all the synth stuff in here, now I can make it into something that's entirely, more synthetic, more cinematic, And of course the super knob. And this one actually brings in, that sounds like a pipe organ in there too.
Even more Gothic.
So there's well, you just get everything with this one, don't you? Anyway, so that's an 8-part performance. That you can do. Again, there's so much sound in here, and it's coming from that. This one's a killer too. So this is all FM. So this is called DX. DX synth brass. But man, you find me a synth brass that hits like this. I mean, that really when you. And the thing that's cool about modern FM is that you also have resonant filters with you, which you didn't have in the original DX7 or the DX1.
Ooh, I like
so
that.
You can kind of tweak it with a little bit of an analog flavor. But what's really cool about this sound is it shows you how, as you move through the scenes change. Here, let me get to the sound here. I'm not sure why they split it, but because they could have just put them together. But anyway. But I'll show you something cool about this too. But So these are just FM offsets that they programmed into the super knob. So coming from something like this to something that's more like this in a single sound is pretty cool.
It's classic FM right there.
But that's all, everything in here is FM. Now let's say, hey, I want to add an AN part to this. How do I do that? Well, I have some open parts here, so I'll just go to part 3 here, and we'll go to attribute with this one, right? So I'm looking in category search is where I'm at here, by the way. So category search, you can search by category. So right now I'm looking at piano, keyboard, organ, and so on. And then
so it's just like collections, sound collections.
And I'm looking for a pad. So there's pad right here. And then I'm looking for sort of an analog feel pad. But I want to only look for ANX sounds. So when I touch attribute in here, you can see ANX only. So now it's only going to show me sounds that are ANX sounds. So here's dark vintage pad. I just added that part.
Those were the analog model ones.
Exactly. So I can solo this and hear what I just added to it. And I want my part
little high attack analog sound.
Yeah, and I can adjust that as well. But now I'm going to bring it back in with my. So there's now this cool dual synthesis sound in here that uses 4 FMX parts and 1 AN part.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And again,
sounds great.
Well, I got to go now. Hold on, let me get my computer. I'll upload that to the plugin. I'll save this as DX1 Full Synth Brax BA, my name, and then I have it in, and then I fly away because I don't live here, and I can edit that sound that I just created here on the plane.
Upload it back in.
Yeah, and upload it back in when I get home. That's some really cool feature set for something, you know, at this price point. It's just it's amazing. It's really.
You can't afford
really
not
cool.
to buy it.
You can't afford not. It is. I swear, folks, trust me. This is next level, and feeling like I can get into it, you know, without, you know, breaking the bank is amazing to me.
Clearly, we could feel the passion there with it too.
Oh,
it's inspiring.
Well, the last one I'll show you here. I mean, how can you not be blown away by this one? This one's called ostinato stack, so staccato modulation SK. SK stands for super knob. MW stands for modulation wheel. So it's giving you a hint on that's going to do something when you move it. So just with this alone, they've set the motion sequence is what this is doing here. A motion sequence is a whole other thing. We won't get into it right now.
Yeah,
want to know
extra
more,
articulation.
There's always YamahaSynth.com. There'll be lots of articles about this. And we have, you know, tech talks and anyway. But here's what I was going to show here. So that's adding multiple arcos to the bow when I bring that up. But scene 2 is 2. Oh.
Nice, okay, just an extra one.
And if you play in tempo, this one gives you 3. This one gives you 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're right, it's Vivaldi-ish.
It so is, yeah.
And then you go to 5. Whoa, what's that? So this thing has 10,000 something arpeggios, and people think of arpeggios as things that go, right? Which it has those. It has classic arpeggios in it, but it has all these ones that are designed for string articulations. And then you go to 6 because you look at this and you go, well, string ensemble, string ensemble, string ensemble, string ensemble. So it's a bunch of strings.
Even more Vivaldi now.
Now there's a horn section in there.
So you're going to put guitar players and composers out of a job? Yeah.
You know, I would say no, we're augmenting it.
No, you definitely are.
Oh, wow. When I hear that, I realize I'm going to need real strings, so I'm giving them work, actually.
Yeah, you definitely are.
I can spin this any way you want.
Yeah.
But like those sounds right there, they're just like, and again, these are coming from MONTAGE M, granted, but you know, having it in a lower cost, lighter weight, it's just.
This thing's just a monster.
Yeah,
we could literally stay here all day and talk about this if we wanted to.
This piano with 3 engines.
Oh, that's fun. all your Nintendo 64, sounds in there.
They're in here too, actually. I'll find one for you. I love how these just... I can see starting a whole tune, writing a tune. It's so much of synthesis today, to me, and as far as songwriters go, is finding a sound that just hits. It just is like exactly what I'm trying to find. And I find that I can find those sounds depending on what mood I'm in. If I'm in more of an alternative, art rock kind of mood, like this, that's what this kind of hits for me. So I'm playing all those different R-head, those kind of, those types of things. And it's all just based in this, or if I'm playing, like, things, they make you play a certain way. That's what I love about this. I find sounds all the time that change how I play. And if I'm changing how I play, I'm growing as a musician. That's what we want. We want inspiration in these products. So they made all these sounds in here that cover everything from FM style digital sounds to analog with ANX sounds, and then this massive library. And on top of that, you have 2 gigabytes of flash memory here, so you can load in. In fact, I think I may have a third-party one in here. Yeah, I have some stuff in here. That's coming from the from the flash in here. So
more synth or
having
piano.
Yeah, it's another thing that I had in my library just to load it in and stuff. But again, having the ability to grow, so if you need more different waveforms and stuff, different sounds, we have some libraries that are available for free, actually, on our shop at Yamaha.com. But there's also tons of sound designers out there that have built Montage stuff. And now MONTAGE M is starting to show up. But again, even if you buy a Montage sound set, you can load it into this because it's fully compatible with all those sounds. So this
is super
and then
inspiring.
Lastly, one last thing, there's Soundmondo too. Soundmondo is our free social sound sharing site, and there's tons of Montage M sounds up there, and there will be MODX M sounds on Soundmondo as well.
Cool.
So, and
I love it.
Again, YamahaSynth.com, there's lots of articles about all that other detailed stuff. But for Zzounds customers, there's nothing to hate about this keyboard. It's really cool. It's great.
It's like inspiring and overwhelming at the same, in the best type of way. The best type of way. But we could do this all day, I'm sure.
I know.
So I'll have to cut you off there.
I know.
We could do this for another 30 minutes if we wanted. But this is incredible. Once again, guys, this is the new Yamaha MODX. This is the M8, but there's also the M6 and the M7 in the smaller keyboard format. Check this out at Zzounds. We are going to be carrying this. And Blake, once again, thank you so much for hanging with me and showing me the ropes of this.
Absolutely. It's always great to come here, guys.
For sure.
Yeah,
all right. Thanks for watching this video, everybody.